Level 1. Trash, the absolute bottom of filmmaking. Directors are famous for putting out cinematic disasters. They can't pace scenes, they can't direct actors, their shots look accidental, and their scripts feel like they were written during a power outage. No redeeming qualities anywhere. Ed Wood. He is the godfather of cinematic disasters. The man who proved you don't need talent, budget, or a coherent script to make a movie, just pure delusion and a Halloween store level of commitment. Watching an Ed Wood film feels like sitting through a group project where everyone failed the assignment but still proudly turned it in. Plan 9 from Outer Space? Bro, that movie looks like it was filmed in someone's garage, using bed sheets for alien spacecraft and cardboard tombstones that fall over when the actors breathe too hard. And yet, he directs with the confidence of someone who genuinely believes he's reshaping cinema. That's the funniest part. He's not self-aware, not even a little. He was out here stitching scenes together like a kid using safety scissors. No continuity, no structure, just vibes. But the man was dedicated. He shot like every day was his last, and every idea was genius, even when none of them were. Honestly, he walked so modern low-budget YouTubers could run, except the YouTubers have better lighting. Still, his films are so bad that they crossed the line and became iconic. Trash, yes, but legendary trash. James Nguyen. He is what happens when someone discovers the disaster movie genre and decides, yeah, I can do that. But way worse. Enter Birdemic, the cinematic equivalent of a power outage. This man really made a movie about killer birds using Microsoft PowerPoint animations and jump scare audio effects that sound like someone slamming a microwave door. The birds don't even move. They just hover in place like they're stuck buffering. Watching Birdemic feels like sitting through a bootleg documentary made by a man who has never interacted with nature, technology, actors, or dialogue pacing. Every line of delivery sounds like someone reading a hostage letter. And the editing? Bro, the editing has a full 2 to 3 seconds of silence between every scene, like the movie needs a break as much as the audience does. But here's the thing, James thinks he's making a deep environmental thriller. He said, Hitchcock inspired this, and honestly, that might be the wildest horror twist of all. But you can't hate him too much. The man is so sincere that he becomes entertaining. He genuinely tried, and failed beautifully. Birdemic isn't a movie. It's a spiritual experience in how not to direct. Uwe Boll. He is the final boss of terrible filmmaking, a man who turned making bad movies into an Olympic sport and went undefeated. This dude spent the 2000s speedrunning video game adaptations like he was farming XP points. House of the Dead, Blood Rain, Alone in the Dark, all of them feel like someone took the cutscenes from the original games, threw them into a blender, and poured out a movie-shaped product. He directs like explosions and loud noises are a substitute for plot, character development, or, filmmaking. And the wildest part? He doesn't care. People criticized him for making trash, and he literally said, "Fight me," then boxed his critics in real life. That tells you everything about his vibe. Watching his movie is like watching a drunk uncle try to explain a video game he's never played. No direction, no structure, just raw, chaotic confidence. And yet, he kept getting funding. The man turned tax loopholes into a movie studio. Respect? No. But maybe a tiny bit of fear. Because if Hollywood ever collapses, he will still be somewhere, directing another unnecessary reboot with the energy of a man who refuses to retire until cinema itself gives up. Level 2. Bad. Not trash, but definitely not good. These directors have budgets, they have ideas, they even have moments of brilliance, but for some reason, the execution always collapses like a cheap lawn chair, and the kind of bad that still makes you want to see if maybe they'll get it right next time. M. Night Shyamalan. He is the king of almost great. Like, he'll have you fully locked in, popcorn in hand, thinking, yo, this might be his comeback. And then, bam, the twist hits, and suddenly you're questioning your life choices. He directs like he's allergic to normal endings. He'll build a whole atmospheric masterpiece, and right when it's time to stick the landing, he throws in a twist so random it feels like Siri wrote it. Sure, he gave us The Sixth Sense, peak cinema. But then he followed it with The Happening, where people were literally dying because plants were mad? And don't even get me started on Old, a movie where everyone ages like they're inside a broken iPhone battery. The guy has talent, real talent. But for every banger, he drops at least two bro why moments. Even his recent films still give that same Shyamalan roller coaster. Great tension, great build-up, but the endings feel like he spun a wheel labeled aliens, ghosts, it was a dream, and surprise, it's symbolism. He's not trash, but he's definitely stuck in the almost good loop. A filmmaker who keeps getting chances because we're all waiting for another Sixth Sense. Paul W.S. Anderson. He is the cinematic definition of looks cool, but makes zero sense. This man built an entire career on turning video games into loud, flashy movies where the plot is less important than the slow-motion spin kicks. And honestly, respect for the consistency. The Resident Evil series alone feels like he just pressed new game on every sequel and hoped nobody would notice. But people did. Everyone did. His films are like eating fast food. It tastes fine in the moment, but afterward you're like, why did I do that? Paul directs like he's trying to win a competition for most CGI used in one scene. And with his recent stuff, Monster Hunter for example, he proved he still hasn't learned what a plot is. It's just Milla Jovovich, giant creatures, and everything exploding for no reason. He's not terrible at action though. He knows how to make things look stylish. But story, dialogue, character depth? Yeah, those got left behind somewhere between Resident Evil 3 and whatever the editors were doing in Pompeii. Still, he delivers exactly what people expect. Chaotic, loud, popcorn-level entertainment. Bad? Yes. Boring? Never. He's the fast food director we keep ordering from, even though we know it's unhealthy. Roland Emmerich. He is the undisputed master of blowing up Earth, like he has a personal vendetta against the planet. If there's a monument, he's destroyed it. A city? Gone. The moon? Yeah, he dropped that thing on us too. Moonfall alone felt like Roland woke up one day and said, let's make a movie where NASA fights a haunted moon. This man directs disaster movies the way kids play with toy cities, just pure destruction with no regard for physics, logic, or sanity. And he admits it. In a Wired interview, he literally said, I can't destroy the world again. That would be kind of a joke, which is hilarious because that's literally his entire career. But here's the thing. The formula hasn't changed since Independence Day. Big CGI destruction, dramatic scientists shouting, one inspirational speech, and a plot twist that makes you wonder if he's trolling. His movies look expensive but are cheap. Every character sounds like they were generated by ChatGPT with two settings, heroic dad and panicked scientist. He isn't awful, but he's stuck in his lane, and that lane is an exploding freeway. He'll give you chaos, nonsense, and the end of the world again. And honestly, we expect nothing less. Level 3, mid. You know those directors who don't really surprise you but don't disappoint you either? Yeah, that's them. Their movies live in that perfectly okay zone. Like, you watch it, you nod, you say, yeah, that was fine, and then immediately forget half the plot. They're not changing cinema, but hey, at least they won't ruin your night. Shawn Levy. He is the definition of solidly mid, but in a comforting way. He's like the filmmaking equivalent of that friend who always brings chips to the party. Not amazing, not life-changing, but hey, at least he showed up. Shawn has mastered the art of making movies that are fun enough to watch, but almost impossible to remember a week later. Like, you'll be scrolling Netflix and go, oh yeah, he made Free Guy. That was cute, I guess. His whole vibe is family-friendly chaos, the type of director who makes action scenes where nobody actually bleeds, and emotional moments where everyone looks like they're in a Disney Channel original movie. But don't get it twisted, the man works. From Stranger Things to the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine, he is everywhere. He's Hollywood's trusted backup quarterback. Never the GOAT, never the disaster, but always reliable when the studio needs someone to deliver something entertaining with Ryan Reynolds' face on it. His movies have big hearts, medium stakes, and small risks. He's not aiming for Oscars, he's aiming for fun Saturday night watch with pizza. And honestly, there's a market for that. He's mid, but premium mid. Like mid with a shiny finish. Louis Leterrier. He directs movies like he's been injected with 200 milligrams of caffeine and told to keep the camera moving at all times. The man's brand is non-stop motion. Plot? Optional. Logic? Negotiable. But stunt choreography? Oh, he's showing up like it's the Olympics. From the transporter days to taking over Fast X at the last minute, because apparently chaos calls to him, Louis has always specialized in high-speed, high-energy action that makes zero sense, but looks very cool. Watching his movies feels like riding in the passenger seat while your cousin, who just got his driver's license, tries drifting for the first time. You're terrified, entertained, and deeply confused. His work on Now You See Me proves it. A movie about magicians pulling off impossible heists by doing even more impossible things that break every law of physics except the law of "this looks awesome." Leterrier is the patron saint of style over substance, and that's fine. Not every director needs to write soul-crushing emotional arcs. Some just need to throw cars, explosions, and jump cuts at the screen until the audience forgets the plot holes. He's mid, but mid with momentum. His films may not stick with you, but the adrenaline definitely does. Peyton Reed. He is the guy Marvel calls when they need something light, safe, and won't confuse the kids. He's the human version of a palate cleanser. His Ant-Man films are basically Marvel sitcom episodes. Fun, breezy, harmless, and always starring Paul Rudd, charming enough to distract from the fact that nothing groundbreaking is happening. But then came Quantumania, which felt like Marvel tried to make Star Wars, Spy Kids 3, and a physics lecture all at once. Peyton directs with a go-with-the-flow energy, like he's trying to make the best out of whatever absurd CGI world the studio hands him. And to be fair, the man can handle comedy better than most MCU directors. His timing is clean, his pacing is steady, and he knows how to make characters feel likable even as the plot melts in the background. But when it comes to big-scale storytelling, he tends to float in that middle zone. Not amazing, not horrible, just comfortably okay. He's like Marvel's version of a well-made sandwich. You'll eat it, enjoy it, and forget it existed until someone brings it up again. He's mid, but he's consistent mid. And consistency is a skill in the MCU. Level 4, okay. These directors are like the safe option on a menu. Nothing wild, nothing terrible, just a solid choice. Their movies won't start any epic debates or turn into cult classics, but you'll definitely stay entertained for a couple of hours. Ron Howard. He is Hollywood's human comfort blanket. You watch one of his movies and just instantly feel like everything will be fine, even if the story is about astronauts almost dying, Apollo 13, or a genius losing his mind, A Beautiful Mind. Ron isn't here to shock you, confuse you, or reinvent the cinematic universe. Nope. He directs like your dad telling you a bedtime story. Steady, warm, reliable, and occasionally surprisingly deep. Lately, he's been in his based-on-true events era, making movies like 13 Lives, where he turns a tense rescue operation into 2 hours of, yeah, that was really well done. He's not flashy. He's not chaotic. He's not trying to win TikTok edits. His style is classic Hollywood comfort food. Nothing revolutionary, nothing disastrous, just clean storytelling with zero unnecessary seasoning. And honestly, it works for him. Even when he directed Solo, a Star Wars story amid behind-the-scenes drama, he still delivered something watchable. Not iconic, not unforgettable, just watchable. He is like that A- student who never causes trouble. Solid effort, steady output, and absolutely no surprises. And in a world full of messy directors, that's refreshing. Kenneth Branagh. He is what happens when a Shakespearean actor decides he also wants to be a blockbuster director. Half of his films feel like they should come with fancy curtains and an intermission, and the other half feel like he's trying to prove he can do mainstream entertainment without quoting Hamlet. Recently, he's been deep in his Hercule Poirot cinematic universe. Yes, that's a real thing, starring himself as a detective with a mustache so dramatic it deserves its own trailer. Death on the Nile, A Haunting in Venice, Murder on the Orient Express, all perfectly okay. Mystery films that look beautiful, sound classy, and resolve with the same "ah yes, the killer is revealed" energy every single time. Kenneth directs with the vibe of a man who irons his socks. Everything is neat, tidy, and slightly too polished. But when he goes to Shakespeare, he cooks. When does he go to blockbuster, Thor? He's fine, just fine. He's never bad, never incredible, just hovering in the zone of, yeah, that was decent. He is an okay-tier legend, dependable, dramatic, and occasionally way too obsessed with close-ups of his own face. But hey, when you've got theater kid confidence, you use it. Guy Ritchie. He is the cool uncle of cinema, the one who shows up wearing sunglasses indoors, smells like cologne and trouble, and tells you stories involving 3 gangsters, 2 double crosses, and 1 unlucky delivery guy. His style is loud, fast, snappy, and unapologetically British. Snatch and Lock, Stock and 2 Smoking Barrels, classics, pure chaos poetry. But lately, he's been chilling in the still good but not quite peak Ritchie lane. His recent stuff, The Gentleman, The Covenant, Wrath of Man, all solid, stylish, enjoyable, but not the mind-bending crime masterpieces he built his name on. Guy directs like he's allergic to silence. Every character talks in 4K slang, every plot has unnecessary twists, and every scene feels like it's edited by someone on a caffeine overdose. And honestly, we love that for him. Even when he took on Aladdin, yes, Guy Ritchie directed a Disney musical, he somehow made it work. Not great, not terrible, just surprisingly okay. His films aren't trying to be emotional journeys. They're here to entertain you, confuse you a little, and leave you quoting British insults you don't fully understand. He doesn't miss, but he doesn't always hit either. He just vibes in the stylish middle. Level 5, good. This is where the filmmakers finally start cooking. These directors actually know what they're doing, and you can feel it. Good is where skill meets ambition without collapsing into chaos. Denis Villeneuve, he directs movies like he's trying to hypnotize the audience into silence. Seriously, the man shoots sand dunes, fog, and giant alien ships with so much elegance, you start questioning why your own life doesn't have a Hans Zimmer soundtrack. Denis has become Hollywood's go-to guy for serious sci-fi that makes you feel tiny. Arrival, Blade Runner, 2049 Dune, every one of them feels like a cinematic therapy session where instead of talking about your feelings, you stare at gorgeous visuals and contemplate the meaning of time. And the craziest part? He rarely misses. Even when he adapts something massive and risky, like Dune, he makes it look like he's been directing intergalactic politics his whole life. His movies are slow burns, not boring, just deliberate, like he wants every frame to be a desktop wallpaper. Latest Dune. Part 2? He turned sandworms into IMAX celebrities. He doesn't rely on twists, gimmicks, or cheap emotional tricks. He just gives you beautiful shots, tight storytelling, and atmosphere so heavy they feel like you're inhaling the movie. You don't watch a Villeneuve film, you experience it. And afterward, you sit there like, yep, that man is good. Very good. Christopher Nolan. He is the kid who took one filmmaking class and immediately decided he was going to bend time, space, and human patience. And the wild thing is, he actually pulls it off. Christopher makes movies that require a calculator, a diagram, and maybe a physics tutor. He directs like he's allergic to straightforward storytelling. Inception, Interstellar, Tenet. The man refuses to let a plot go from point A to point B without first folding it into a Mobius strip. But here's the thing. He's good. Like, unbelievably good. Even when the dialogue sounds like everyone's speaking through a fan, even when the plot gets tangled like headphones in a pocket, he delivers spectacle. Oppenheimer proved he can crush historical drama just as he crushes sci-fi puzzles, with loud audio and emotional explosions. He shoots on giant film stock, loves practical effects, and treats IMAX cameras like they're everyday toys. And people trust him so much that studios literally let him blow up real buildings because Christopher knows what he's doing. He's not perfect, but he's consistently ambitious, bold, and obsessed in the best way. Watching a Christopher movie feels like doing mental gymnastics, but in high definition. Alfonso Cuarón. He directs like every movie is his final exam project, and he's trying to graduate at the top of the class. The man refuses to do anything halfway. Gravity was basically a 90-minute panic attack in space, all done with mind-melting long takes and CGI so clean you'd think NASA secretly financed it. Roma, pure artistry, intimate, personal, visually stunning, and shot like every frame belongs in an art museum. And don't forget Children of Men, which gave us some of the most iconic one-shot sequences in film history. Alfonso loves long takes, not the gimmicky kind, but the holy hell, how did they film this without someone tripping kind. He mixes emotional depth with technical wizardry like it's nothing. Even his Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban era was elite. He took a children's franchise and instantly matured it with moodier visuals and smarter storytelling. He's one of those rare directors who can do blockbuster-level spectacle and intimate human stories with equal skill. He doesn't always aim for the mainstream, but whenever he drops something, people pay attention. He is that director who quietly enters a room, drops a masterpiece, and leaves before anyone can process what happened. Level 6, great. Directors who don't just make good movies, they make culture-shifting, career-defining, award-collecting cinema that people study, quote, remix, and worship. When their name appears on a poster, you don't ask questions. You just show up, buy the ticket. Steven Spielberg. He is the cinema equivalent of a cheat code. The man has been dominating Hollywood for so long that entire generations grew up thinking movies are supposed to feel like Steven movies. He's the guy who can make you terrified of sharks, emotional about aliens, and nostalgic for childhood adventures you never actually had. He directs with the confidence of someone who knows he changed the industry, because he literally did. From Jaws to E.T. to Jurassic Park, he created blockbuster culture. And even now, in his elder statesman of cinema era, he's still dropping masterclass films like The Fabelmans, proving the man hasn't lost a step. Steven blends heart, spectacle, and storytelling better than almost anyone. You get the big emotions, the big themes, and then, bam, a moment so human it hits you harder than the actual plot. Even when he's not making movies, directors basically try to copy his magic formula. He's like the cinematic father of half the industry. He isn't just great, he's the blueprint. And the wildest part? He makes it look effortless, like he's painting masterpieces on his lunch break. Martin Scorsese. He directs like cinema itself owes him money, and honestly, maybe it does. The man has been delivering iconic films for over 50 years and still pulls it off with fresh energy, as if trying to outdo his own classics. Goodfellas, Casino, Taxi Driver, The Departed. He practically built the modern crime genre with his bare hands. But what makes Martin great isn't just the classic mobster swagger. It's his obsession with characters, guilt, morality, and people spiraling into the consequences of their choices. Even at 80+, he dropped Killers of the Flower Moon, a 3-hour-plus epic that somehow feels both intimate and massive. He shoots conversations like action scenes and action scenes like Shakespeare. The man refuses to slow down. While other directors his age are chilling on yachts, Martin is filming 4-hour prestige dramas and arguing with Marvel fans online. And he's right. Because when Marty speaks, cinema listens. His films aren't just movies, they're cultural events. He's a historian, a filmmaker, and the godfather of anyone who ever held a camera with ambition. He isn't great, he's greatness itself, with eyebrows as iconic as his filmography. Peter Jackson. He is the man who woke up one day and said, "Yeah, I'm going to film the unfilmable," and then actually did it. The Lord of the Rings trilogy isn't just cinema, it's a national treasure. He took Tolkien's mega-sized fantasy world and turned it into a cultural phenomenon so massive that people still quote it in everyday arguments. Peter directs like a world builder first and filmmaker second. He doesn't just make movies, he constructs entire universes, sculpts landscapes, invents languages, and casually revolutionizes CGI along the way. Way to digital? Yeah, that's basically his tech baby. But here's the thing, after Low TR, he didn't just dip. He gave us King Kong, the Hobbit trilogy. Yes, bloated but still impressive. And documentary breakthroughs like They Shall Not Grow Old, where he restored WWI footage so cleanly it felt like it was shot last week. He switches between epic fantasy, heartfelt drama, and groundbreaking tech without losing his identity. His films feel massive, emotional, and handcrafted, like every scene was built with love and caffeine. He's great because he changed what epic filmmaking even means. And let's be honest, nobody is touching Middle-earth the way he did. Level 7, GOAT. This is the summit, the elite league, the directors whose names alone can silence a room because you just don't watch it, you witness it. This is the level where legends live forever. Hayao Miyazaki. He makes movies that feel like warm soup for the soul, except the soup is hand-drawn, magical, and probably has a talking spirit frog. The man animates emotions better than most directors animate actual humans. You watch a Hayao film and suddenly you're questioning your childhood, your life choices, and whether you should move to a remote Japanese village and talk to trees. He gives us floating castles, giant cat buses, flying witches, and food so delicious looking it makes you want to lick your screen. And the comedy? It's that perfect, wholesome awkwardness where characters panic, fall over, and somehow still look more graceful than we'll ever be. What's even funnier is his energy outside the movies. This man will make the most beautiful, heartwarming film ever, then immediately go, "Yeah, everything is terrible. Humans are doomed." Like, bro, you made Totoro. Calm down. And even in his 80s, he came back again with The Boy and the Heron like, fine, one more masterpiece. He's the GOAT because he doesn't just make films, he makes worlds you want to live in, cry in, and never leave. Hayao doesn't direct movies. He directs childhoods. Quentin Tarantino. He directs like he's fueled by pure movie geek energy and a suspicious amount of dialogue caffeine. This man can turn a 5-minute conversation about burgers into a cultural monument. His whole style is chaotic brilliance, snappy dialogue, stylized violence, characters who talk way too much but in the best way, and storylines that zigzag like a toddler holding a crayon. And somehow, it always works. Every Quentin film feels like you stepped into a universe where everyone is slightly unhinged but also weirdly charismatic. Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, Django Unchained, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, all iconic, all dripping with the kind of style people spend years trying to copy. The comedy? It hits different. He'll have you laughing at the most inappropriate, "Am I allowed to laugh at this?" moments, and that's exactly the point. And the man's confidence? Unmatched. He's been saying for years that he'll retire after 10 films like he's Michael Jordan announcing his last dance. Whether he does or doesn't, he already stamped his GOAT card. Quentin is cinema's wild storyteller, unpredictable, stylish, hilarious, and ridiculously good at making violence look like art. Stanley Kubrick. He is the GOAT who made movies so ahead of their time, people are still trying to figure them out decades later. Watching a Stanley film feels like going to a museum where everything is beautiful, unsettling, and possibly judging you. He was the guy who could make a sci-fi epic, 2001: A Space Odyssey, a war satire, Dr. Strangelove, a horror classic, The Shining, and a psychological nightmare, A Clockwork Orange, all with the same calm energy of someone rearranging furniture. The comedy in his work? Oh, it's there. It's just the uncomfortable kind that makes you laugh, then immediately regret it. And the perfectionism? Legendary. This man would do 100 takes of someone opening a door just to make sure the door had the appropriate emotional depth. He practically invented the director who scares actors into giving the best performances of their lives genre. Stanley's vibe was simply, let's push cinema so far into the future that the future has to catch up. And it did. Eventually. Every frame he shot became a reference. Every movie became a film school Bible chapter. He didn't just direct films, he engineered them like they were spacecraft. A true, untouchable GOAT. And that wraps up the wild journey through the 7 levels of film directors, from the absolute trash tier to the true GOATs who shaped cinema forever. So, which level do you guys think most directors today actually belong in? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for reviews so honest that your favorite actor might block us for them.